Hello, everybody, and welcome to 21-22 Winter Sports Parent Meeting for Athletes. Congratulations on your athletes making it to this point, and we are glad to have winter sports back here at Glen Allen High School. I'm your Director of Student Activities, Michael John Cristoforo. I have my email listed for you all, my phone number, my Twitter handle to follow me, and then, of course, our website to get all the information you'll need throughout the season, because with snow, COVID, and everything we have right now, things are going to be very fluid with changing, I'm sure. So we'll see what happens. The agenda for this meeting is to do the introduction of everything, go over what the JAA does for us, cover things with the athletic trainer, talk about the guidelines for COVID-19, talk about screening and testing, the concussion policies, eligibility, scheduling, the communication protocols, the drug and alcohol policies, sportsmanship, and social media usage guidelines for adolescents. At Glen Allen High School, we have a lot of athletic programs. We offer pretty much everything that is out there on the scope of athletics. They're listed here on the screen. We are in winter sports right now. So basketball, indoor track, swimming, wrestling, cheerleading, sideline only, gymnastics, and indoor track, again, for girls and boys, will be represented, as well as swimming, boys and girls, for these events, as well as basketball, boys and girls, and then JV and certain sports. Our principal is Mr. Davenport. Our associate principal is Matthew Bedke. Assistant principal, Adrian Harris. Assistant principal is Leah Wiedenhoff. Our other assistant principal is Barbara Bonner. And our head of the NCAA eligibility is Miss Abigail Allen, who's in our school counseling department. We're now going to get into one of our most favorite pieces, and I encourage you all to be a part of it, whether it's through helping through concessions or anything. It is my heartbeat that keeps the funding going for athletics here at Glen Allen High School. It is our JAA. It's our Glen Allen Athletic Association. It's our Boosters Club. It supports all teams, and it has a lot of fundraising opportunities that have come through the bricks, and thank you for all that helped out with the test drive. Who we are, what their mission statement is. They're a nonprofit organization whose purpose is to promote enthusiastic interest in the Glen Allen High School athletic programs. The organization shall assist in the athletic program of the school by providing financial, advisory, and volunteer support. We shall cooperate and work in conjunction with those in charge of the athletic program at Glen Allen High School, the school administration, and the Henrico County School Board. The purpose exists in the organization of a parent community persons dedicated to supporting, encouraging, and advancing the athletic programs at Glen Allen High School, thereby encouraging and recognizing high athletic and academic achievement, sportsmanship, and character, contributing to the morale, spirit, and enthusiasm of students, and providing the community a means for positive involvement with the school. The association shall promote projects to improve facilities and equipment necessary to provide an adequate athletic program for the school. Our board is composed of the president, Emily Fagan, vice president, Christy Cochran, secretary, Shelley Flowers, treasurer, Susan Fellon, parliamentarian, Chris Horn, advertising and marketing, Amy Bergman, concessions, Christy Cochran, hospitality, Danielle Harris, membership, Chris Horn, spiritwear, Marcia Mosley. Sports programs is still open, ways and means, Katie Moss and Danielle Harris. Website communication is Amy Bergman, and then, of course, me as your activities director, representing on the board. These are some of the fundings that have been out there since we've started all this in the COVID year so far. We've done a great job with our test drive, as I started in the beginning. So there is funding out there for these student athletes that are coming up. New to add towards it is going to be some of our recognition of the state athletes. So we're working on that avenue as well, since we had such a great season of having 2 state titles earned in our programs this past fall. Membership levels are here. They're still available that are out there, and you get you into all activities and games. If you're interested, please reach out, look at the website for the JAA. Again, those that have supported us, thank you. Go online to the website to purchase your membership, buy a spirit sign, or become a corporate sponsor. Share it with whoever you want. Whenever we do concessions and send things out through your sports teams, please look out for them. Get us a parent rep. By getting us a parent rep to volunteer and come to the meetings once a month, that therefore can get your group eligible for a $200 gift from the JAA of purchases that they need throughout the season. And make sure we do everything there. The email is there that you can contact the board and communicate with the Boosters Club. The next stage is our athletic training information. Aaron Miller has been with us for a solid year and a half almost. He came to us in the winter season right before COVID. He's done a great job. He's here to help and has connections for any type of sports injuries you need. His email is right there to contact him. I know you'll see him sitting on the sidelines at events or on the track or in the swimming pool as needed. If your child is not able to have insurance, something happens during employment, God forbid, I hope that's not an issue that you have to deal with. We have what's called K&K insurance. This is the information in the link that you'll be able to see and use this for a bridging the gap until there's new employment for a student athlete to be covered and do what they need to do. The next big piece is the concussions policy. All athletes are required to have a sign and return concussion form by now. With cuts and tryouts made, all athletes should have this in. We use impact testing and concussions. This is online courses that are free for you to get more of awareness. Basically, we have a return to play and return to school protocol. Once a student athlete is injured and they come down with a concussion, the coaches and the athletic trainer, Aaron, we send an email to the nurses in the building and then hopefully to the school counselor to let them know that there is a protocol for them so that if they're struggling in class, things go the way they need to be done. Mandatory forms for athletics. You can click on that URL and this PowerPoint's available again after. I will put it on the website. They need to have the concussion form, the student activities contract, and the VHSL physical on file, which everyone pretty much has in winter sports at this point. Now moving into the COVID-19 protocols and changes per this year. And again, we're grateful that we have winter sports back. We need to try to obey these things as best as possible so we don't have any problems that come up. So the first thing is social distance is the best way we can do per the mandates. Protocol for attendance and spectators for indoor and outdoor games. Senior nights are going to be selected by the coaches. We're hoping that we'll move those in possibly sooner rather than later, just in case the program gets shut down. Masks must be worn indoor. It is highly encouraged outdoor unless you are socially distanced. Hand sanitizer and PPE will be available at activities and games. And the most important one is HCPS follows hosting site protocols when traveling to games. So when we are traveling to Chesterfield, Hanover, Northern Virginia, wherever state events in this season that I know we'll get to, we must follow the mandates of those locations and invitations. I have a link on this site for the governor's orders as they change, and I also have HCPS's information link. That's a hot topic that changes by the health committee. On the buses, during COVID-19, attendance will be taken on the buses, masks will be worn. We are advised not to eat food, drink, do what they need to do. Coaches will take the attendance. They will have assigned seats when they're on there for contact tracing. All right. At no point in time, if we're doing team meals and things, do kids share food? They start to be separated to tables indoors, and coaches will take the liberty of assigning those and figuring out on their comfortable abilities of having team meals. But on the buses, everything is assigned. They'll be spread out, and they will wear their masks to and from events. Excuse me. ACPS mask requirements at this point per Henrico Health Committee is we'll be following the CDC's and the HCPS guidelines for masks. Please check it regularly, as I said at the beginning of this presentation slide, because they might change. Masks are to be worn indoors. Moving on to the testing for non-vaccinated athletes. Every Thursday from 7:30 in the morning till 9:30 in the morning, we will check in Commons B. We will then move to the auxiliary gym where the third-party site our vendor is at to test our athletes, and it will be done weekly. If you cannot attend, those times don't work for you here at Glen Allen High School on Thursdays, then you can therefore reach out and go to any other location that's on the schedule that is posted online, or you could take a take-home kit that we have provided for at Glen Allen High School to sign out. If an athlete misses all these or fails to give us the information for vaccination status or sign the waiver to be tested, they will not be able to participate on the team that they are on. I also have the link that you can click on that talks about the testing and what goes on. Events and practices, student athletes enter through the Commons entrance or the ticket booth depending on activity location. Doors open for access and minimize contact. We'll clean all surfaces prior to practices and games and events. There will be PPE provided, and at the entrance of the sections, we will have QR codes and questionnaires for COVID if they become and need to be available as things might change. Practices, small practice group, organized skill work in pods, Coaches will mandate that. They're going to have their own water bottles. Everything will be separated. Each time, team will provide proper sanitation supplies at location as needed. They will track all athletes with location when on campus for contact tracing pieces. And if a piece of equipment is needed to share, then it will be sanitized prior to sharing it. All right, during the games, student athletes will be socially distanced on the sideline wearing masks. During no anaerobic activity, it is encouraged. Sidelines and benches, and the bag for a mask while in play might be there and recommended underneath the chair, especially for basketball if they're subbing in and subbing out. But all athletes, as we did with volleyball in the fall season, will be asked to wear the mask while they're sitting on the sidelines waiting to get into the games. All athletes will have a spacing by chairs or cones or another method to maintain social distancing. In basketball, we'll be using the bleachers and knocking off the first 3 rows behind for the kids to actually space out behind the benches for social distancing. At the completion of the game and practice, again, Ms. Spivey, the C&M staff, myself, and the coaches, we will be spraying and sanitizing everything down. All the cones, the balls, the practice jerseys, the gear, and the equipment between everything. We will possibly try to depend on between JV and varsity events of spraying down and cleaning up and making sure things are there. The biggest thing is to remind your athletes to take home all their clothes every day. Do not leave the things and items staying here in the offices or in the locker rooms. Every night they should have a bag they carry back and forth with them to be washed and cleaned throughout the season. And of course, make sure they wash their hands. Now moving into eligibility rules for the fall. There's 2 parts to eligibility. Everyone gets this one confused. There's the VHSL component, which is pass 5, take 5. So we need to make sure that we are in that component, which means for the winter sports, this will happen twice. Once we close out the first semester, we begin the second semester. Everybody on a roster will be checked again that they passed 5 and they're taking 5 current classes in the second semester. Online courses, you want to make sure that you check with the clearinghouse or you check with Miss Allen up front before your child registers for that, because some things are not accredited by the VHSL to give them eligibility. In Henrico County, we have the 2.0 grade point average requirement. It's a one-time waiver available if you don't reach that 2.0 grade point average. Requires a meeting with the principal, the DSA, and the parent and the athlete so that we're aware that you can only use that once per 8 semesters of your high school career. Everything is checked at the beginning of the season. I'm in the process of that. I pretty much have everyone done and checked except for indoor track since they just completed right before the holiday with tryouts. And there's about 160 of them, if I'm correctly going through looking for the dates and their grades. But other than that, everyone should be notified if there is an eligibility issue by this point. Scheduling. Practices are set by coaches based on the facility available and communicated. Practices are Monday through Saturday. There should be no Sunday practice sessions for any athlete moving forward. Games, we'll fill as best we can with flexibility. Again, I talked about that at the beginning between winter sports starting up, snow, COVID, you name it. It's going to be quite a challenge that we might be getting into. Hopefully not, but it can be. So check to see if conflicting dates with holidays, things like that. Regional tournaments are set by the regional and host sites. We don't have anything to do with that other than the region votes on them, and it's depending on the availability of gym space and track space for the events. And then, of course, swimming is on the natatorium use because we're depending upon outside parties for a swimming pool. Schedule is found at the colonialdistrictva.org. Click on that. Go to the team site. I highly encourage you to set notifications for your team. So anytime I hit save, change, delete, cancel, whatever, you'll get a notification that it is out there. Reschedules, we're going to do everything we can to make them up. But again, packing in a full schedule into the time is tight enough. Moving from that outside of that window makes it a challenge whenever we have to reschedule with the events and spaces. COVID-19 will make it even more challenging and might limit games. But again, with the power rankings, we divide by how many we play. So there's not really that big of a challenge that's going on. And the fall season, it really didn't impact anybody drastically. Make sure, again, you sign up for the notifications. Excuse me. Tobacco, drug, and alcohol policy is the next thing we're going to cover. You've all signed this. It's the drug and alcohol policy, but it's time to make sure that we cover it and that we understand what goes on. The first offense, if there's something relating to vaping, drugs, alcohol, you name it, that's on that list, you get 30 calendar day suspension from all VHSL activities and extracurricular activities. The second offense, you get 365 calendar day suspension from everything. The third offense, you're ineligible for any activities and extracurricular activities for the rest of your high school career. So again, that would mean dances, that would mean playing in performances, things like that, attending performances, games, even if you're off of there for a roster. You cannot go to any extracurricular activities if you're under this violation. And again, the first offense is 30 days, second offense is a full calendar year, and the third offense makes you ineligible for the remainder of your high school career. Sportsmanship. We need to make sure that we follow that. Sportsmanship is becoming an issue. We've had a lot of situations in the fall that have come with kids misbehaving and parents in the stands misbehaving. Remember, we're all about these kids being able to play, so we don't want to be caught in those situations. The biggest one that I'll lead off with is we just got a real good props from the fall season with the young man that made an honesty call in the volleyball state finals, which therefore could have changed the whole demeanor of a game. And we got a great compliment by Glen Allen by making a self call and turning that over, which again, at the end, as you know, we became state title champions, which makes me proud that our kids act that way and our coaches enforce that. If you have anything with sportsmanship related to fighting, it's a 3 games and an online sportsmanship course must be completed prior to return. Profanity towards an official is 2 games. Leaving the bench to become involved in an altercation is a 2-game suspension. Unsportsmanlike conduct is a 1 game. Okay, school may increase this all you want. I highly encourage you to watch the Parents Playbook link once you get to this PowerPoint to see how kids and athletes feel when parents act the way that sometimes they do in the stands. Excuse me. The other thing to add to this is the hate speech. If there's anything on the floor, it is also included in a 1-game suspension or more, depending, and that can be called by an official at any time. So if there's any type of hate speech that is now put out that was put through emergency legislation by the VHSL, it can be handled by the referees immediately, and the student athlete will be ejected from the game. And then the next one thereafter, depending on what they said, can make it be increased by the school. The Colonial District Sportsmanship Code is here. In accordance with the high school league regulations, the member school of the Colonial District requires that all participants, coaches, and spectators demonstrate good sportsmanship by always treating the visiting school and the game officials as our guest, being modest in victory and gracious in defeat, respecting the judgment and integrity of the officials, not exhibiting unacceptable behaviors such as taunting, berating, using profanity, damaging facilities or equipment. Failure to follow these codes may result in removal from the premises. We appreciate your support of high school athletics as an integral part of our educational program. The next component we'll be covering is social media. Please make sure that we monitor this and monitor your school athlete's account. We have issues with that come across my desk. There's some things that need to be representing the school in the right ways. If they're not, then we have issues that we have to be dealt with. Each coach has their own policy that you should have signed and code of conduct that follows it, but these are some guidelines to look from the NFHS that I have shared here for you all to review. Communication protocol. If there's a consequence or something that you're upset with amongst your team, it goes to the athlete and the coach first. If your child comes home and they're not happy, then you request the parent and coach with the athlete. And then third brings myself in as a DSA. And then fourth, brings in the principal for any type of discussions that we need. Mr. Davenport will join in with myself if we didn't get to a solution. But again, we hope that the first 2 solve it or the first 3 with myself, and we move forward. The last component that we have is our new online ticketing. Right now, we're currently building these for home events. Pretty much Henrico County schools will be running this all across the board. They will all be posted by the home site. So when we host games, it'll be our QR code. When we are at Godwin, it'll be Godwin's site, but we'll try to upload those to our school as well. And we'll have these posted outside the window so you can purchase your tickets. There will still be some events. I know here at Glen Allen, there will be some cash still here because we're transitioning. But moving forward, we are on GoFan, so you got to buy your tickets in advance, and then you do not redeem your ticket until you come to the event. So let us redeem it at the sites, not on yourself by yourself as you come in. So you can click on that QR code, and then we'll be ready to go. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching and attending this event. And this evening, when I push this out to you, we look forward to seeing you all at the games this winter. It has been a long time since we've been in the gym. I'm excited for it, and I hope that we all can follow the sportsmanship and get along and do what we need to do to make this event possible for these kids. So again, I appreciate all the support you all have. Just email me or call me if you have any questions. And again, good luck to all winter athletes as they take off on their journey to success through athletics and becoming the true student athlete that we want them to be here at Jaguar Nation.